Welcome everyone to our Drain the Swamp rally, organized by the Connecticut Grassroots Alliance. I'm Bob McGuffey, of Right Principles.
Yeah!
I don't know about you guys, I am ready to vote today. Absolutely. We want to thank everyone for coming out today. We recognize that many of you have taken a break from the campaigns, grassroots work, or family obligations. But you've come here to stand up and be counted as defenders of the Republic. We are gathered here today because we are united in opposition to a ruling political class that is out of control. A government governing against the will of the people. Exhibit A is Connecticut's 5 congressional incumbents. We'll hear today from some of the candidates chosen to make the case against these notorious 5 representatives of Connecticut who have voted in blind lockstep with Nancy Pelosi and the liberal national leadership's socialist agenda. In just 15 months, these states have shackled the American people with over $4 trillion of new public debt. Now we're here today to generate energy and electoral energy that needs to flow back to our districts and build and gather more recruits over the next 4 weeks. To take the message to our communities that this election is critical to the survival of our republic and to culminate in a spectacular victory on November 2nd. Yes, my fellow patriots, the case against the socialist agenda relentlessly pursued by the liberals is clear and compelling. One man who knows well how to articulate that case is Sam Caligiuri. Sam is the Republican candidate for Congress in the 5th District, and he's here to clarify what's at stake in this campaign to unseat the abominable incumbent Chris Murphy. Let's welcome Sam Caligiuri.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you everyone so much for being here. My friends, there's bad news and there's good news. The bad news is, right now our country is heading in the wrong direction. The good news is, with your help, in 31 days, we're going to right the course, take our country back, take our state back, and get us back to principles that will return this country and this state to prosperity. My friends, ideas matter. And right now, this campaign throughout the country and throughout the state is about 2 very different visions for where our country and our state ought to be going. Right now, we have people, albeit well-intentioned, who are serving us in Washington who believe that they know better than our founders and what our Constitution said. There are people who are running this country right now who think that the federal government is the answer to every problem. There are people right now running this country who think that a bigger federal government, taking more of our hard-earned tax dollars, is the right way to solve our problems. My friend, you know better, I know better, Americans know better, and that's what this election is about. And with your help, on November 2nd, we're going to bring this country and this state back to a principle that our founders understood. We're going to come back with majorities in Congress that respect our Constitution and the proper relationship between the power of the federal government, which should be limited, and the power of our states, which is what the founders understood was where most of our problems should be solved. We're going to go back. We're going to go back to an approach that has limited government as the cornerstone of turning our economy around, so that we don't have the federal government spending at a rate we can't afford and having to raise tax dollars that are making it so much harder for families to make ends meet and for businesses to grow. My friends, ideas matter, and what this movement is about is making sure that we get our country back on the right track, because, my friends, if we don't make change now, I fear that the damage being done by Chris Murphy, Nancy Pelosi, Chris Dodd, the whole lot of them, may harm this country forever. And it is our country that is at stake right now. We still have a chance to make the change. And with your help, we will. But let me tell you and ask you to do one thing. You all and the Tea Party movement and everybody in the grassroots movement that has overcome this country and taken it over have done something profoundly good and profoundly important for this country, because you have made candidates of both political parties accountable to the founding ideals that made this country great. But your work doesn't end on November 2nd. Because the reality is that there were times when no matter which party was in charge, we were sold out to the wrong ideas. And so here's my challenge to you. Help do what you've been doing to get us to victory on November 2nd. But on November 3rd, let's wake up. Let's celebrate. Let's thank the good Lord for taking our country back in the right direction. But then the next phase of your work starts. Because your job and the job of everybody in Connecticut and everybody in this country is to make sure that those of us who have the blessing of election on November 2nd are always reminded and held accountable that we don't sell out, that we always make the right decision. And we make the right decision for you, we make the right decision for this country. And so your work is only beginning after November 2nd. But between now and then, thank you for what you've done to help us take our country back. Work every bit as hard as you have, and keep up the work. Keep up the pressure. Keep up the fight, my friends, because we've got a great victory we need to win, not for any one political party, but for our state and our country, and we need you to get there. Thank you, and God